pause it. I know what you're thinking. She's live. She's going to be rabbling. I'm not, I promise. Once I've said hello to the guys in the live, I want to start the story. I don't stop. If you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Like I say, I'm just going to have a quick chat with the guys in the live, if anyone turns up, and then I'll start the story. And like I say, once I start, I don't stop. Obviously, if you'd like to look at my TikTok, the story will be over there. Or if you want to wait for the weekend, it gets uploaded onto my pre-recorded ones, and you can watch it without the live. So, yeah, thank you. Hey, guys, how you doing? Thanks for coming back. Hi, Warwick, how you doing? Hi, Tiff. Hi, Ayla. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just going to have to give up the ghost on the mic. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm plugging it in wrong. But I've done it the same way since I got it, so I don't know what's happening with it. So let's just pack this away. It's a bit of a pain in the bum, though, isn't it? Not happy about it. So it looks like I'm going to have to get a new mic. How you doing, Phil? How are you? How's it going? How are we all doing? What we all up to the weekend anyway? We got anything exciting planned? We got any great plans? Do you know, I hate when I look away from the camera as well, because when I look back, when I watch it back, when I look down, all you can see is chin. I've got to stop doing it. You don't notice until you watch it back when I'm in the middle of doing something, but all you can see is chin. Oh, how are you? Are you really? Well, I'm getting drunk with Tiff next week, next Saturday. So, that's what I'm doing. No, because we're broke. We just brought the news to me. Did you get a new one, though? Is it fabulous? I know. Mum told me about it. Oh, gutted. Oh, you couldn't think of anything. Well, you can think of worse things, of course, than your telly going. But it's still gutting. It is still gutting. I've noticed there's something on here. Hold on a second. No, it's that retouch malarkey again. Why doesn't it let me... Oh, he's at work on Saturday. He's just such a little hard worker, isn't he? He's very good. Yeah, another 65-inch. Yeah, has to be. Has to be. Can't be anything 60 inches or below, and that's just the end of the world. Me and Mum were saying that first time we got our first 40-inch, we thought we were the Queen, like the royal family, sorry. It's exactly who we thought we were. We thought we were really rich. And now it's like 40 inches, like for your kid's bedroom. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I think Mum's right, you know. I think that's what made us all blind. But you do need, it's good to watch films on. Oh, is it good to watch films on while you're drinking? Is it? Okay, well, I'll watch a film on it when I come up anyway, Hayley. I'm such a child. I am such a child. I hate being left out of anything. I will throw a strap over everything. I am. I'm not happy. So used to are drinking together and watching films. Phil's working. So what you up to, Warwick? What you up to? What is that? That's a good lie. Is it liar? It is, isn't it? It's liar, that is. Baby. Have I got that right? Have I? No. I thought I had. Look, I can't do it with my mouth because I'll mess my lipstick up. Oh dear. Watching me catching up. Is that what you're doing? Are you gonna catch up? No, not now. Not now. Over the weekend. Is that what you're doing? Like I says it was. See. On it. I'm on top of the world, right? How are you? With me there. Hope you are with me there. Being on top of the world. I hope so. I hope everyone's on top of the world. Apart from the weather's going to be pants this weekend, guys. Just to let you know, just to ruin it for you in case you wasn't aware. My eyebrows look really thick tonight, don't they? I've gone to town there, haven't I? My God. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of eyebrow going on there. Not that anyone's interested. It's just because I'm looking at myself. It is. It's really cold. It's really, really cold. But do you want to know something? You know, I had no heating for 2 weeks. Do you remember? Ha! Got myself a little bit of a bonus. I did from it. Almost makes it worth it. Just thought I'd put that out. I was very happy. I was very happy. Why can't I see? Why can't I see my fame? My famous. There it is. There's my famous. I don't know why I've called it my famous. Anyway, do we know this story, guys? That really feels so sure Dad just scored. Dad just scored. Oh, football. I was so confused then. I was so confused. I'm assuming it's football anyway. My mum's been watching the rugby for the past 5 weeks, I think. So Six Nations or something. So she's very involved in that. So she comes on later. She's very involved in the rugby, is Mum. But yeah, anyone heard of this one? Football? Yes. I wasn't sure, but I kind of got it. This one, I got a bit of a problem with this one. I shouldn't have a problem with this one, but I kind of have. And you're probably going to see in about, maybe about 15, 20 minutes what my problem is. Hey, Mama Bear, how we doing? Hi. How are we? See, I don't know. I see, I'm talking to her. She's not listening to me. She's not listening to me at all. Ask her about the rugby. She'll love that. But yeah, you're going to find out in about 15 to 20 minutes. Was it in the spell? Oh, no. No, it's not. Because that is the correct spelling. Honestly, it is. Triple checked. It's the correct spelling. But it is in... not the spelling as such. There is another person in this story. Oh, God. You'll see. You'll see soon. Okay. Right. So I am going to start in a second. And like I say, I'm going to find... Do you know? Oh, you know it's the right one. But no. You're going to find... my use of... No, do you know what? We're just going to get on with it. We're just going to get on with it, and you're going to see yourself soon enough. But it's not... I don't want it to take away from the story I'm about to tell you. I've got a feeling it may, but I'm hoping it won't. Okay, so I'm going to do my little intro for my pre-records, and have you noticed what I've done on my pre-recorded? So I've got the live Tuesdays and Thursdays on my live ones, the thumbnail. And then on my recorded ones, I've just got me as the thumbnail. I thought it just so we know, even though I write live and I don't write live on the other ones. I just thought if I do that, we know which is which, because I get very confused myself. I get really confused over which one's live and which one's not now that I'm putting them both up. It gets very confusing. So if you've noticed that, that's why I've done it. It's because, yeah, I'm confused on my own channel at the minute, which is crazy. So, anyway, let's begin. You noticed. What did you know? Oh, noticed that. Yeah. So, I don't know why I bother talking, because I can't remember what I've just said. I can't remember. My brain's constantly going, so I can't remember what I've just said. Right, okay then. Let's go. Now that Tiffany has other people to play. I know. I forgot. I'm sorry. But now that you have other people to play with this evening, because we were all on our own the other night. Phil, bless him, came in later on. He was busy working. But we had Gilly for I think about 5-10 minutes. But other than that, we didn't have anyone. The other night. So there was just me and Tiff. So she's got other people to play with now, so she'll leave me alone to get on with the story tonight, because she was really naughty the other night for the first 15 minutes. Well, longer than that. I didn't even get to start. You'd think I'd start quicker with just us. He wasn't poorly, Phil. Oh, well, I don't think he was, Warwick. I'm jumping into a conversation. He wasn't a fan of the story from the other night. It was, he's kind of cut off that we all have that one story, and I think that was Warwick's. So I've just jumped in and spoke for you, Warwick. I'm sorry. It wasn't brilliant at all. It wasn't. It was, I watched it back and I was like, for God's sake, she's gotta stop. I was like, I can't get this story started. I just can't do it. Oh God, right, but we're gonna do it now. We're gonna begin. If everyone's ready, I'm going to start. Okay. Let's fix the her. Okay. Stop that. Even watching it back, I was laughing at that. I was like, I say, that's what I say though. There's no other way I can say it. Okay, right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, True Crime with Jess Rose. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Tuesdays are my request evening. Thursdays are stories I like to bring to you. Now, like I say, I'm live on a Tuesday and Thursday, but if you just want to watch here in the pre-recorded, that's fine too. Or I am over on the TikTok, if you're interested in that as well. Although it is broken down into part 1, part 2, as you can imagine with TikTok. Or if you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. And now that we've got all of that out of the way, it's got, my little intro, I'm going to begin. Just a quick heads up, it is a child, just to let you know. Of course, I understand if you can't stick around for that, I 100% understand that, and if you can, I do appreciate it. And yeah, let's begin the horrific Myls Dobson story. And it genuinely is. It really is. It really is. Okay, so we have Myls. He was born on the 7th of April 2009. Okay, in New York City, New York. It's US. It's an American story. Okay. Now, Myls' mom is Ashley Dobson. His dad is Okie Wade. Now, everything I've seen about this little boy, and oh my God, he's so cute. Oh, he's so cute. He's just got the biggest grin. He's just really handsome little boy. Like I say, such cutie, sweet, happy, loved by everyone. Loved by everyone, both sides of the family, maternal and paternal. Very, very loved a little boy. He loved pizza and he loved dancing. He was just a very, very endearing and thoughtful little lad. This is everything I've heard about him. He just seems like he'd have been a real sweet little boy, to know. So once born, Myls moves to South Carolina with his mum, Ashley, and his maternal family are there. Okay. Now, he does get to see his dad. Obviously, his dad still lives in New York City. But like I say, he's very loved from both sides, dad's family and mum's family. It seems like this little boy just had so many caring people around him. Okay. Now, what I'll say about Ashley, his mom, I have heard that she has got some mental health issues. She had blacked out a couple of times, even before she had Myls. Okay. So, but loads of pictures of little Myls looking very, very happy. Like I say, really happy boy. We get to January the 11th of 2011 now, and he's nearly 2. He's about 21 months. All right. Now, child services become involved with the family. Now, what has been put down on the notes that I've found, it's called inadequate guidance, okay? And I looked at what that means, and it means a parent fails to provide sufficient direction, support, and instruction to help a child develop, learn, and grow in a healthy and safe manner. That's why they were brought in, okay? My explanation really doesn't shed any more light on it. I just wanted to tell you what the inadequate guidance meant. But on January the 25th of 2011, so it's about 2 weeks later, the investigation's closed and the allegation is unsubstantiated. Okay. But that's the first introduction of child services into little Myles's life. All right. Now, we get to April of 2011 now. All right. And Ashley gets arrested. Now, the reason Ashley gets arrested is Myles's grandmother was looking after him, and she noticed that he had like lacerations on him, and his face was swollen. Okay, so his grandmother brings him into hospital, and when he gets there, the nurse looks and she's like, well, this doesn't look like an accident to me. She phones the police. All right. So that's what happens. That's how the police get involved. Now, the reason the nan brought him in is both Ashley and Myles at this point in time are living with the nan. So it would be Ashley's mum making it Myles' grandmother. All right. Now, when Ashley's questioned, what she says is that she was at a supermarket with Myles earlier on that day, okay? And while they're in the car park, he makes a run for it. Now, he's a toddler. We know what toddlers are like. And he makes a dash for it. Now, they're in a car park. There's cars driving everywhere. She grabs him and she panics. And she does smack him, okay? She does smack him. Now, the swollen face, I was a bit like, well, that's a bit more than a smack. So when I read about it, it does say that she smacked him, but with a closed hand. So I'm presuming it wasn't a fist this way. I'm presuming it was more of a cuff. Okay. Not saying that any are good. I'm not saying that. I'm just explaining how I've read it. All right. So that was the swelling. All right. Now the lacerations, Ashley explains that he was fine. They sorted, she told him off. He got a smack. She got him back in the car. They go home, and then they go round to a friend's house, and little Myles is playing upstairs. Now, she calls him down the stairs, and apparently he was rushing and he fell, okay? Hence the lacerations, okay? Now, this is what was said, and the actual the smack in the car park was found on CCTV. The police did find it. So obviously, of course, no one's happy about it. Now, Ashley's sister comes forward. She actually does a YouTube video. All right. And what it is this has made the rounds. Everyone's hearing about it. Ashley, of course, is being called like abusive and everything else. Ashley's sister comes forward, and in fact, the whole family defend her. And she's just like, look, he ran out in front of a car. Now, I don't know if she was there or not, but it was recorded. And she says, look, he ran out in front of a car. It scared the life out of her. She panicked and she hit him. I'm not saying neither here nor there. All right. I'm not commenting on it. I'm just saying this is what happened. All right. But the whole family defended her. Myles in the hospital after the fact, after what happened, after the staring stuff. Myles is quite happy. He's okay. The police talked to him. The nurse talked to him. He seems fine. He's okay. They're a bit like, oh, I don't know about this, especially her history of blacking out. She has got mental health issues. They're not too sure what to do, but in July of 2011, the charges are dropped. All right. Now, Ashley and Myls around this time, they moved back to New York City. Okay. So they were in, sorry, was it North Carolina or South Carolina? I've completely, like, South Carolina. Sorry. They were in South Carolina. They've moved back to New York City to be closer to Myles's dad, Oki. And she was living with her mum, wasn't she? So I'm assuming maybe it wasn't working too well there. Maybe it was just she wanted to be closer to the dad. She knew the dad's family as well, you know. So it was for Myls, okay? So they moved back to New York City, and around this point, Myls is 2 now, okay? We get to August 2011, and Ashley's having problems, all right? She's struggling to find a home for her and Myls over the next year. They're sort of stopping here and there. And at this point, she's actually in a shelter, all right? And Myls is removed from her custody by Child Services for neglect, all right? Now, I've looked everywhere, and it would seem that the neglect charge that Child Services has kind of put at Ashley is the fact that she didn't have a permanent residence for him to be securing. I get it. I get that. I understand. It is a shame. Obviously, there was a lot of the paternal family around. I don't know if it was that she didn't want to stay with them. I'm not too sure. But the fact is, she was in a shelter. So Child Services come in, and like I said, they remove him. All right. And even with all this, Myls is still a very loved little boy. Apparently, he's a very good little boy, still really happy and smiley. And, you know, his mum says, you know, she was crying, he'd look at her and he'd be like, "It's okay, mummy. I love you, mummy. Don't cry, mummy." You know, it seemed like he was a really caring little lad. Okay. So we get to August 2012. Myls is 3 years old now. All right. Now, Child Services award full custody of Myls to Oki. Obviously, Myles' dad. Now, what I haven't mentioned about Oki is he had a bit of a criminal past. All right, let's say. Assaulting an ex-girlfriend, fraud, petty theft, those kind of things. Okay. So not exactly the most upstanding citizen. All right. But Child Services, like, here you go, you're probably better than her. So yeah, you have him. Right. So basically, because of the mental health issues with Ashley, no abuse was written down on the fact of why he was removed from Ashley. There was nothing to say he was abused. It was the neglect of her being in a shelter. That's what I've seen when I've looked into this, okay? So we get to September 2012, okay? So it's only been a month, and Oki's arrested, okay? And when he's arrested, he decides to leave Myls with an ex-girlfriend, the same ex-girlfriend he'd been accused previously of putting his hands on. Okay. Now the ex-girlfriend, she did take Myls, she did take him for him, but it said that the reason he got her to look after Myls for him, well, no, he had a lot of family he could have asked. He had a lot of family that Myls knew. But the reason he went to her, it was said that Myls was something that's called an anchor kid. So he basically anchors his child to an address. So when he comes out, he's got somewhere to go. I've never heard of that term before. But apparently that's what this situation, that's the name for this situation, okay? So then we get to November 2013. All right. So Oki had come out. He took Myls back. There's not a lot known in that year. I don't know if they were living with a family member, the ex-girlfriend. I'm not sure where they were living in that time, but a year goes by. All right. And now little Myls is age 4. So he's had a bit of a tumultuous, if that is even the right word, early start to his life, which is quite sad. It is sad. For all the love that he had and the support system that both the mum and the dad had. It's like, why could neither of them just get it together? Okay. So like I say, we get to November 2013 now. And Oki begins a new relationship. He seems to really like her. But his family was suspicious, as he was reluctant to introduce her. He had already introduced her to Myls, though. Okay. Her name is Croisy King. She was 27. Oki was 37. So there's like a 10-year age gap between them. Okay. Now, Croisy lived in a luxury high-rise apartment. Okay. It's called the Ritz Plaza. All right. In Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan. Supposed to be a very swanky, I've seen it. Very swanky looking place. Not the Hell's Kitchen that I've read about from years ago. We're talking 20s and 30s. I've read books on it then. It's obviously picked up a lot since then. And this building that Croisy was living in, yeah, and very, very swanky. Okay. Now, like I say, he hasn't introduced Croisy to his family, but he has introduced Myls. And the family are a bit concerned over this. It's been very, very quick. And the family are like, why are you introducing her to your child so soon? Okay. But what he would do, he would brag to his family, saying she was a model. And basically, this model is 5'11" tall and 230 pounds, and was possibly a model or designer. Okay. Now, Croisy was actually born Christopher King and had transitioned to a woman in adulthood. Okay. I believe this may be why Oki wasn't telling his family about Croisy. All right. So Oki would tell his family, though, how well Croisy was treating Myls. Okay. Buying him clothes, taking him out. Apparently took him to the theatre. I don't know why a 4-year-old does want to go to the theatre. Unless it was a pantomime or something. I'm not too sure. But Oki was very, very like, look what she's doing for him, and she lives in this amazing place, and she's a model, and she's a designer, and he's very, very braggy about this new girlfriend. Except his family, who, in case you haven't got the gist, they're a very close family, very close knit. He's not introducing him to his family. Okay, so the reason they're so concerned, it's not even so much that they're not being introduced to his new girlfriend. It's the fact that Myls has been introduced to his new girlfriend, and to introduce someone that quickly, even if it's a case of, because of it doesn't work out, even if it's just, a reason that for that reason, you shouldn't be introducing someone into your child's life that quick anyway. It could all work out amazing, but if it doesn't, and that person's just as quickly out of your life, that can be very negative and quite harmful to a young child like that. Their trust issues would start to have an effect. Those trust issues would start to come into play. But there's also other concerns, all right? So back on the 27th of June in 2013, Oki had been indicted with 22 other people in a bank fraud scheme. Apparently they'd robbed a load of people's cash points in a Vegas casino. Something like there was 22 of them involved. Okay, so he'd been indicted on the 27th of June, but he'd been bailed. Okay, so that's why then he'd gone on to meet Croisey. Okay, but on the 19th of December 2013, okay, Oki's arrested at his house in Brooklyn, because even though he was seeing Croisey and she had this amazing penthouse apartment, or not penthouse apartment, but amazing apartment, he was still living in Brooklyn, all right? But when the police turn up, apparently he'd violated his bail conditions. Now, I don't know what he'd done. It doesn't say what he'd done to violate his bail conditions. But a family member, when he's taken, looks after Myls, all right? But 2 days later, on the 21st of December 2013, don't forget, little Myls is 4, okay? Now his dad's been taken out of his life and he's living with a family member. But a knock comes at the door, and Oki had called Croisey and asked her to pick up Myls from the relative's house and look after him. Okay. Now, although it doesn't say this, I've actually thought it was probably to ensure he had somewhere to go after his release from jail, maybe. I'm not too sure, but do you remember when I said the anchor? I don't know if that was what was going on here. But he asked Croisey to come and get his son and to look after him until he got out. Now, remember, Croisey doesn't even know Oki that well. So she certainly doesn't know Myls that well. And he's a 4-year-old little boy. And 4-year-old little boys need a lot of care. They need a lot of time. They need a lot of understanding. They can be boisterous. They can be loud, and this Croisey's living in a very swanky apartment building that doesn't tend to have many kids in there. Okay. So we get to the 8th of January 2014. All right. So this is 18 days later. 18 days later. Okay. So let me just emphasize, less than 3 weeks. And it's at about 10 to 11 in the morning. And 911 is called. All right. And what Croisey tells them is that Myls is unresponsive. All right. And what she tells the authorities when they come out is that Myls was in the bathroom. She was in there with him, up on the sink vanity type area. She left the room for a second, heard a bang, and when she came back in, Myls must have tumbled off the sink area into the empty bath, banged his head, and he's been unresponsive ever since. This is the story that she's giving to the authorities when they come out, okay? But when they look at Myls, he's limp. he's battered, and he's slumped in the empty bath. All right? And he remained unresponsive. They couldn't get him. They couldn't get him breathing again, or his heart going again. Okay? So he's rushed to the hospital, and the doctors could just see this beautiful, beautiful boy was bruised from head to toe. Okay? And what they also noticed, then they start to notice that there were cigarette burns on his body and his face, plus a tooth was missing. Okay? There was abrasions on his belly and on his groin area. And very, very shortly after arriving at the hospital, he was pronounced dead, because they weren't able to get a heartbeat or anything else. He was pronounced dead. He was 4 years old, little Myls Dobson was. He was a gorgeous little boy. And this is 18 days it took to destroy this little lad. Okay? So Croisy, at this point in the hospital, she's sticking to the bathroom story. She's like, yeah, this is what happened. You know, I just left the room for a second. But when Croisy's brought to the police station, okay, very quickly confesses. Really quickly. And this is what happened with little Myls. From the day he was brought to Croisy's apartment, from the day, he was beaten in some sort of twisted form of corporal punishment, some sort of twisted, you know, you're going to do as you're told, some sort of twisted sort of discipline, all right? And apparently for acting up, no real elaboration on that, just acting up, he was beaten. He was whipped with hangers and cords and belts. And with the belts, Croisy made sure that the buckle would hit little Myls across the head. Okay? Made sure of that. Made sure that the buckle was there. Okay? He was burnt with cigarettes, as I said earlier. But he was even burnt between his eyes. So it wasn't just his body, it was his face. And it was between his eyes. Croisy used to love to put him in the bathroom, in the dark bathroom, and lock him in, because he was terrified. He was starved. In that short amount of time, it was said that he lost between 20 to 25 pounds. At the maximum end of that, it's nearly 2 stone. Even at the minimum end, it's nearly 1.5 stone. He's 4. His last full meal was on the 26th of December, 2013. Okay. So we're literally only talking a week, just over a week or so after Croisy taking this child in. He stopped even picking at food on the 3rd of January 2014. He didn't even drink after that day. Now remember, I said this was the 8th that 911 was called, so that was 5 days previous, was the last time he drank or ate anything, right? His little head was slammed into the wall, which is how his tooth came out. And it was because he'd said, I feel alone in the world. That's what angered Croisy, that this 4-year-old said, I feel alone in the world. What 4-year-old What 4-year-old should say something like that? How lonely and um I don't know, abandoned did this little boy feel that he said something like that, and he had his head slammed into the wall for daring to say it. He had gashes on his face from being punched or being hit with objects. He had severe burns on his right leg from a metal rack from the oven being placed on it. Of course, Croisey was wearing mitts, had to protect the hands. But yeah, the metal rack was put onto his leg. Okay. He'd be bound to a chair with shoelaces and gagged, if not something being put into his mouth. He'd have duct tape put over his mouth, so no one would hear his screams in the apartment building. Do you remember I said there weren't many kids in this apartment building at all? Scars on his back from being whipped. He had laceration. Oh, he had laceration defense wounds on his little fingers from trying to protect himself from this 230-pound, 5'11" woman. On the 7th of January 2014, Myls, now remember this is the day before. Okay? Myls is beaten and thrown out onto the 11th floor balcony. All right? It was minus degree weather. Okay, it's New York. It's January. Apparently, it was in the middle of a typhoon weather. I don't know if I've got that right, but it was extremely bad weather. And he was left out there for over an hour in shorts and a t-shirt. Let me remind you, he's 4 years old. He's just been beaten, battered, and thrown out onto a balcony in freezing temperatures. And then, when Croisey eventually brought him back in, he was locked in the bathroom again, in the dark bathroom. And at this point, he was dying. His little body couldn't take any more. And rather than getting him any help at that point, no, I don't know. I haven't seen anything to say that he could have been saved. But rather than getting him any help, Croisey just watched him. Just watched him die. And waited all night as his body shut down from the weeks of abuse. And obviously didn't call 911 until the morning of the 8th. It's believed he actually passed away on the night of the 7th. So when that 911 call was made, it's believed he'd been dead for hours. Now, Croisey showed no emotion, no remorse, none. In fact, Croisey blamed Myls for his beating. Croisey blamed Myls for having to beat him. Now, Ashley, obviously Myls' mum, was inconsolable. She had to go and ID him. Now, remember, Myls was taken off her because she didn't have a permanent place to live. There was no abuse that was written down. It was put down as neglect because she was in a shelter. But there was no abuse. She loved Myls. You know, do I agree with everything that she did? Of course not. But do I think he'd have been better with her? 100%. 100%. I would have 99%. Okay. I won't say 100%. Let's say 99%. Okay. And she's had to go and ID her little boy. It was taken off her and given to his dad under the pretense that he would look after him better. Child services didn't even know Myls' dad was in prison. They didn't even know where he was. After removing him from his mum and everything he knew and handing him over to his dad, they didn't even know what happened to him after that. Oh, God. Now, she hadn't seen Myls since November of 2013, like 2.5 months previous. And it was around the time that Oki had met Croisey. So he'd literally met this person and stopped anyone connecting what was going on. Now, I can only assume why, but it was at the detriment of his own son. Okay. Now, the news reports called at around that time. Obviously, the news got hold of the story and everything else, and they were calling Croisey the babysitter. Now, I don't know if it's just because they didn't realise who she was in respect to Oki, the dad, and Oki was denying even knowing Croisey. He was denying even knowing Croisey at this point. He said, I don't know. I don't know who this person was my son was with, who murdered my son. I don't know them. So, now Bill de Blasio, the mayor in New York City, he was the mayor in 2014. He orders a review, of course, and calls for changes. Of course. Don't we always hear that? Now, we find out that when these changes are trying to be implemented, that Child Services had actually visited the home. I don't know whose home, but they visited a home 9 times, apparently, but never knew Oki was in jail. Now, I don't know. I don't believe it was Croisey's home. So was it a family member's home? But they didn't know he was in prison. And they believed, whoever it was that told them, that Oki was actually working really hard, and he was working for like 16 hours a day. I don't know who it was who told them that. But the fact that they believed it and didn't even, after the 8th time, maybe even the 7th, but definitely by the 8th, maybe even the 3rd. Well, okay, I need to speak to him now. I need to talk to him. But no, they just took whoever it was is on face value that yes, he works 16 hours a day. So that's why he's never here. Now, in 2016, Croisey, who had been charged with murder, first-degree assault, and unlawful imprisonment, took a plea deal. Okay. And the plea deal was, it wasn't the 25 years to life that the prosecution was after, but Croisey received 22 years to life. So even though 22 years sounds nothing for what Croisey did to little Myls, it doesn't mean that Croisey will get out in 22 years. Okay, it doesn't mean that. And we can just hope that Croisey doesn't get out in 22 years. Now, Ashley at the sentencing brought a teddy in that was dressed in Myls' christening outfit, and she brought that to the sentencing, but she couldn't stay there because during the sentencing the injuries were read out again. It's of course devastating, so she left. Now, after Myls had died, before this, no one could actually claim Myls' body for a whole week. Obviously, his dad's in prison. His mum's lost all parental rights to him. So no one could claim this little boy, which I thought was just devastating. But eventually he was released and they could organise the funeral. Now, his funeral was on the 21st of January 2014. All right. I have seen pictures. He had a little open casket. He had a little white hat and suit on. I can't imagine it. I can't. Like, the whole family just looked devastated. I can't, there's no words to describe how the family must have felt. They did allow Oki a release to go to the funeral. Obviously, Ashley was beside herself. Just absolutely awful. So, and what I will say about it, there was hundreds of people outside the church at little Myls' funeral. You know, the entire community was just disgusted at what had happened, and you know, their hearts broke for the family. Now back to Croisey. Okay, Croisey's lawyer. Now this is at the sentencing. Okay, the sentencing for you beating, torturing, burning, beating and murdering a 4-year-old little boy. And Croisey's lawyer had requested that no one in the New York State Correctional Services to touch her hair. That was the concern, because it was her identity. So please don't cut her hair. Croisey also requested to be in protective custody as well, to be kept safe. Of course, the family were absolutely outraged. This is in the sentencing. You know, the family lose their mind. Okay. Now, that would have been the end of this story. And, you know, the matter of Croisey being transgender, you know, I didn't want that fact to overtake what Croisey had done to Myls. You know, we know child murderers come in both genders. We know that. But there was something else that I found out after the fact. And on the 20th of April 2022, Croisey, oh God, okay. I'm going to say what it was put down as, because let's make sure we get it right, eh? Let's just make sure we get it right. So Croisey King, who used to be called Christopher King, okay, on the 20th of April 2022, was transferred to a women's prison. Quietly, of course. Quietly transferred to a women's prison after murdering a little boy. Not just murdering, torturing, burning, beating, starving a little 4-year-old little boy in less than 3 weeks. And you get to be transferred to a women's prison? Make that make sense for me. Make that make sense for me. You can think of what I'm saying as you want. You can think of it as you want. You really can. Because this story isn't about Croisey King. It's about little Myls Dobson. Okay? That's who this story is about. And I've tried to be as respectful as I can and I want to be. Um, but that's all that's going to be got from me in this story, because it was about this little boy and what was done to him. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying it's because of being transgender. There's nothing on that level at all. But I don't see why that should overshadow what was done to this little boy. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Okay. That was the horrific Myls Dobson story. Absolutely awful. Awful. And if you go and have a look at this little boy, oh, he's just a gorgeous little man. And so clever and sweet. And you just imagine what he would have done in the future. And it's just very, very, very sad. Really sad. I'm not surprised the dad hid that he even knew Croydon. I'm not surprised. It doesn't surprise me. But yeah, like I say, that's a horrific Myls Dobson story. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much. Like I say, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. I obviously, or they go up on my, I'm sorry, oh God, this story today. But it goes up on my pre-recorded stories as well at the weekend. Or if you'd like to just join the live, I'd really appreciate that too. Or just even just watching this, that's amazing as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I really do hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you next week. Thank you again. Take care. Thank you. Oh God. How are we? How are we, guys? Was we even listening to me? Have you all been in your own bubble again? Actually, no, I know you weren't. Actually. I don't know what I'm talking about. The most mighty member of the group. My God. Do you know what though, Phil? I have to agree with you there. I do have to agree with you. Tiffany, you can't say anything, I agree. I'll back you up, Phil. I'll back you up on that. God, I've got warm. I've got so warm at the end of that. Oh, thank you, Mum. Thank you. Oh, have you been here the whole night, Mum? Have you been here? Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Thank you, though. Thank you. Have a lovely night, Mum. No, I love you. Did you, Warwick? I know you did. I don't know what I was on about. I don't know why I said that, because yes, I did catch comments off kind of now and again. So, but are we all okay there? It's a bit of a different one, but very, very sad. So sad. I don't even know. I don't know. Is that new then? Is that new that I do that? Is that new? Is it a new one? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if it's new. But I thought, is it? Oh, is it new? I thought I'd done that before. Oh, okay. That looks like a donut. Stop. Tiffany said that the other night, but she didn't come out and say that. It's my fan. It's my fan. Yeah, but even you didn't say dildo. It's keeping me cool. Rather than having the noisy one, it's a bit quieter. So Tiffany said that. I don't know what to do. I can't have a big one because they're too noisy. I can't have the paper one because they're too noisy. This is the best I can do. Does it really look like one? Maybe it does on camera. But I have to use it. I have to. Maybe if I hold it down here. Maybe if I hold it down here, you can't see it now. What did I do? What did I do? I was showing off the fan. Well, what did I do? I was blowing kisses to... Oh, I was blowing kisses to Mom while I'm holding my fan. There's a lot going on. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it was I just did. I think I was just holding... I was blowing kisses. I was blowing the kisses, the air kisses again. But anyway. Okay, I'm going to have to watch it back. With this handle, this one, I think I was just looking at it. I think I was trying to work out if it looked like one, then I thought I'd hold it down. I don't know. I'll have to watch it back. I don't know what I was doing. But yes, that's fabulous. The empty hand. I think I was blowing kisses. I'll have to watch it back. I don't know. I'm going to have to watch it back. I have no idea. But anyway, I don't get it. Them eyebrows are a killer, aren't they? Them eyebrows are cracking. I don't know what's going on there. I've really gone to town on them tonight. There's a whole thing going on there. But I can see yous, but I've seen quite a few people in, but are they just lurkers? Have we got lurkers? Is that... I shouldn't say that, should I? We lost them the other night. Oh, we're losing them again. I shouldn't have... I keep saying something, we keep losing them. The other night, we had 3, and I shouted, and I lost them. They went away, so I've got to stop calling people out. I'm never going to have any people on here if I keep doing that. Right, I've called down now. I know, I've got to stop. I keep doing it. I just happened to notice out the corner of my eye, and I was like, well, there's not that many people talking. Lurkers. Do you call them lurkers? Is that an insult if you call them lurkers? That's just someone who watches, though, isn't it? You lurk watching. It's not an insult, is it? So, show yourself immediately. I think they've gone. There was 8 and we dropped to 5, so they've gone. Whoever they were, I've done it again. I've called them out again. I've got to stop doing it. I really have got to stop calling people out because it's not good for me. It's not good for me to do it because they just disappear then. I'll show you how my elbow's doing. Show me how my elbow. You can't. There it is. There is the lump. I'm only saying it because you can't see my knee, and my knee's absolutely killing. I did try to say really sore, Hayley. That's what I was just about to say. Really sore, throbbing. So I'm not going to keep you as much longer because, oh my God. And when I'm done and I stand up, it's just like that. The whole knee just completely swells up again. It had a real, look, because the liquid moves around. Come back, guys. It just got excited. You did. You did. It is exciting. To talk about my knee. Oh, that's vile. I'm not talking about my knee. Hayley asked me anyway. I was about to tell you anyway, though. I love to talk about myself. We do know this. I'm going to put my thing down. Does it really look that bad? I just didn't think it looked like that. Right, anyway. How are the boys? How is it? I was lost on throbbing. Who said throbbing? Oh, my knee. I said it. But it does. By the time when I finish it. And you know, the other day, after I'd done the live on Tuesday, I looked and there was because it's got so much liquid around the knee, it had moved and there was like a lump the other side of my knee that you could kind of push and move. It's just awful. It's just horrific. I don't know how much longer I've got to give it. They said give it 6 weeks. I think it's been about 11 now. And it's still there. It's still sore. It's still killing. I don't know how much longer I'm supposed to give it. But I don't want to go back to the hospital. It's just not fun up there. It's really not. It's long-winded and it's not very nice. Stop. Oh, with the liquid. Yeah, it's not nice. I'll show you next week. I'll be there. Look, it moves. It moves. Right then, I think it's jingle time, guys. On that note, on the note of me talking about my legs, I think it's jingle time. But thank yous for joining me tonight. It's been a bit more louder tonight than the other night when it was just me and Tiffany looking at each other. Well, her looking at me and me just talking to her. I'll leave you outside with your 19 bags. It's not that many. It's 3 suitcases and a bag. That's it. That's all I bring. Mind you, I'm only there for 2 nights, Tiffany, so there shouldn't be that much this time. I'm only there for 2 nights. It is jingle bell time. It's jingle time. Let's go. Thank you, Warwick. Thank you to Warwick and Phil. Thank you to Hayley and Tiffany, my moderator extraordinaires. I think I saw Jilly for a split second. And thank you to Mum. Thank you all, guys. And if you are watching, I'd really appreciate you. You're not liking it. You're not liking the stories. You're commenting, but you're not pressing like. You have to press like. That's my strap out the way now. I'm only playing. I really appreciate you even commenting, so that's fine. But if you could, look, comment, subscribe, guys. I'd really appreciate it. I want to try and keep my eyebrows out of the camera. Look, comment, subscribe, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Look, comment, subscribe, guys. Even lurkers. Look, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Lurker. What was that? What was that? I got really carried away then. What was that? Anyway, thank you. Gotta stop. Oh, no. It's the eyebrows. I'm going to have to not do that next time. But thank you all so much for joining me. And have a fantastic weekend. I'm not too sure what story I've got on Tuesday, but I'll let you know early on Tuesday afternoon. And yeah, have a fabulous weekend. No matter what yous are doing, working, playing, relaxing, whatever yous are doing. And I'll see yous all next week. Thank yous all so much again. Take care. And yeah, look, comment, subscribe, guys. Look, comment, subscribe, please. I'd really appreciate it. Look, comment, subscribe all. I don't know what that is. Okay, fingering screen again. Finger. There we go. Look.